want to introduce yourself?
I am Hannah Scofield. I'm from Alabama. I am a screenwriting / film adjunct teacher, whatever.
Have you worked on some scripts so far, or?
Yes, so I've written several scripts. I got one made last fall. It was in post-production for the longest time. It's a feature. And now it's hoping to hear back from some festivals today, but it got produced, and now I'm working on, in addition to like my own creative projects, I got a gig this past week. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm writing another feature.
So like, how did you get into it? Like, studying from it into actually working into it a little bit.
I actually kind of didn't want to be a screenwriter like for a while, because I was an English major and a film major, and with English, you're reading all these classic novels and everything, and I wanted to be a novelist, and I like poetry. I didn't want to, when I first got into college, I didn't want to be a poet, and then suddenly I ended up writing poetry, same with screenwriting. So I started working on a bunch of productions in undergrad, and I kept getting asked to write things for everyone's production. Getting ready to graduate, and my professor, who's a USC alum, was like, "You sent in your application, right, for the writing program in the MFA?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." He's like, "Well, today's the last day, so you're gonna send in your application." And so I immediately just threw things together, wrote all my 2 essays, everything, typos and everything.
What was your favorite project to work on? Like, what aspects of writing it?
I have favorite stories, and they all were really special when they were being workshopped and pitching them and stuff. I remember my first script, I trashed my first script in the MFA program. My very first feature actually was completely different from everything else I write. It was a dark comedy called The Lady Killers, and it was kind of a spin-off of the old movie with Alec Guinness, but it was about these old lady cannibals at a church who just to get meat for a charity function, they had to go basically kill homeless people, but one of them ended up being the angel of death and was trying to kill them. So it was a comedy, and I wrote that in undergrad, and that one I had no idea what was going on. I just thought it was funny, and I'd write the scenes to make people laugh, but I didn't really know how to write a feature. My first finished script that I did at USC, I started a fantasy, quit it, and then did a new one. And that one I really liked because it was about someone living inside of a dream character who wants to get out of the dream because she wants to be real. Because it kind of made me realize for the first time what kind of writer I was. I wrote whimsical fantasy things of longing and dreaming and stuff.
Were there any challenges you had when trying to write those or trying to go through the process of writing?
I think most of it was learning how to take criticism, because I thought my story was a certain way, and I'd get frustrated that other people wouldn't see it the same way I did. And now looking back, I realize all their criticisms were actually helping me they saw the story the way it should be, and I just couldn't see it yet because I was in the thick of it. So it was really hard for me sharing my work and dealing with feedback. I had problems learning screenplay structure because you have to be very concise, and you have to write in present tense, you can't write in past tense, it has to be all visual, and you can't get super philosophical and meta and all that. You can to an extent, but it's got to be very grounded. And I think learning the language of cinema took a long time, and I was going to quit a lot, but now it took 2 years to get adjusted. I'm still learning, so.